Hey guys, today I'm going to be outlining the full strategy guides for 2 zoom and 5 zoom. As you can see on the screen, I've got some data sets up they're from 2015, but because that's when I was playing the style I'm going to be outlining today. But the games, because the games changed so much when poker first came online, but they haven't changed so much in the last like 4 years, to be honest. So the strategy will still be quite valid. And yeah, at the lowest games, a strategy like the one I'm going to outline today is still going to work. It's very exploitative. You play a lot of post flop poker. It's very straightforward, easy to memorize, and it's very strong against weak opposition. So yeah, this was like how long I spent there just from playing these strategies. So there's only like 15,000 hands or 3,000 hands. The reason I'm showing them combined is because at 8 table I was playing the same strategy simultaneously. So yeah, I'll just show you this in a graph as well. So it's up like 40 buy-ins in 40,000 hands or so. So it's like a really good win rate. I did kind of mess up a bit here. I do vaguely remember this, but I just went back to what my original plan was going to be, and we started crashing again. So let me just show you basically what the strategy is. So yeah, so let me just mention this quickly. So if you look, the VPIP is just ridiculously high, 37%. The 3-bet, I felt like it should have been lower, but I think there were some hands I was just like, this hand is fine as a 3-bet and a flat, so I'm just gonna 3-bet it, but this is completely fine. And you can see as I go up to 10 and L, I became a bit more respectful and tightened up the strategy quite a lot. But V-pipping a lot and just playing post-flop poker is really good against weak opposition, because people don't 3-bet enough for value, for bluffs, for everything. So you don't get blown off your equity when you call. So yeah, let me just go through. So these are the hands you're going to be playing from pretty much every position. Let me just talk you through what each hand is going to be trying to achieve. So all of the low to medium pocket pairs, you're obviously trying to make a set. The offsuit connectors, you're trying to flop either the straight or an open ender. A gut shot, we might peel one, then fold the turn. Ace high suited, king high suited, we're trying to over flush someone. The queen high, the jack high, and the 10 high suited, we're trying to make a flush or a straight, or even trips with the medium card. These ones, the suited connectors and the suited one gappers, trying to make a straight or a flush, or flip a open ender or a gut shot with the one gappers. I'm trying to make a wheel with these ones. It's very wide, I appreciate that, don't be concerned. And these ones we're trying to make Broadway straight. Something else to note is that people c-bet in the 2 zoom, 5 zoom games, they c-bet very narrow, so yeah, you don't get blown off your pairs when you do make a pair, and you just have to be diligent about folding. So then this is what we're going to be playing versus an open. So these are the playable hands are the same, so I was just calling everything that I wanted to play, and just 3-betting very narrow to start with, versus the cutoff, 3-betting very merged, but yeah, just potting it in position, calling anything playable, and yeah, just I'll talk about the post-flop strategy in a bit. This is when we're out of position, very merged, strong range. Similar versus the cutoff. I was playing the small blind and the big blind the same. I think it's fine. Out of position I probably folded more, but especially the small blind. But basically anything that was playable I was just calling anyway. And it wasn't going so badly. Okay, so this is the first range, which is playing against a 3-bet. So, all of these, this whole spreadsheet will be in the description if you want to check it out. So yeah, versus 3-bets, There's a 3-bet out of position. When we're in position, we're only going to be 4-betting hands we're willing to stack off with, and we're going to be peeling stuff which is playable, but we don't want to stack off with. And yeah, it's very narrow calling range because people 3-bet very tight, so we're respecting that. Playing hands which can make a strong hand, overtake, and stack someone, and easy to play, like making a set. Similar vein here, we're just being patient. We're not spazzing against 3-bets. Very passive. I love raising as much as anyone, but against people who 3-bet very narrow, it's not viable to 4-bet wide. So it's a function of their general strategy as opposed to us being nits. We're just being cautious because they're nits. So yeah, all of these ranges are pretty standard. So versus an MP 4-bet out of position, so this is when we 3-bet and then we call in position. You'll see that kings aren't a 5-bet jam. This is just because people kind of 4-bet fold ace, king, and queens at micros, especially if they're like Eastern European regulars. So jamming pocket kings only gets called by mainly aces. You block pocket kings, so it's not even a chop. You mainly lose with jamming kings, in my opinion. So just calling is fine, and then you can smash some ace kings which miss, and some pocket queens as well, and then you only jam the nuts, which is aces. That's the cutoff when you're in position on the button. We go wider, but I'm still mainly 3-bet calling. Ace queen suited makes an appearance here. I think versus the cutoff, the range should be wide enough that it can't be terrible to sometimes call there. So yeah, these are all ranges. I'll probably relabel these so that they're a bit more clear, but yeah, we're very tight, we're very respectful. I'm very face up, but it's fine. So these are all of your open ranges, or you just play everything very wide and very the same. All of your calling ranges and playable ranges, this is fine. And then what you do against a 3-bet, what you do against a 4-bet, calling and folding and raising, and that's all good. Then post-flop's quite easy to memorize really. So let me just read my notes as well, just check that everything's okay. So yeah, pre-flop, I wanted to say that, you can kind of do what you want. You can 3-bet and flat, but yeah, flatting more is fine because most people, the regs open quite tight, so calling and outplaying is better. And yeah, basically what we're doing is we're calling with bad hands, and by doing that we're making a mistake, but we know that our opponents at this level are going to make bigger mistakes on flop, turn, and river, which we can take back our expected value in at those decision trees. So yeah, this is fine. Yep, 3-bet squeezing is very rare at low frequency, so we can call a lot. We don't want to float much because c-bets are going to be very narrow by our opponents. So yeah, so what do we call with? I always call with the gut shot once and then fold it on the turn. I'll always call twice with an open-ended straight draw, as long as there's not like a really obvious flush draw as well, where instead of having 8 outs, I'll have 6 outs. I'll just be a bit tied to them without a blocker. And a flush draw twice, I'll always call twice. Post-flop, betting is the aggressor, so we're not always going to be the aggressor, especially when we're calling so much. I'll always bluff a gut shot on the flop. And yeah, any 8 out draw or better for the turn, and then I'll generally never bluff river. The only exception for bluffing the river is when I have one, ideally 2 essential blockers to the strongest hands available. An example being if we miss an open-ended straight draw or some kind of flush draw. Let's say we have a naked ace of clubs and we have like ace jack off and we picked up a redraw to a flush on the turn. I might bluff the river if we have like a straight blocker and the nut flush blocker and they both came in, for example, but we didn't connect and we have like a set blocker with our jack or something. So that would be a good spot to bluff, and kind of valid. But when I go through some hands playing this strategy, which I'll show you in a bit, you'll see the cooldowns are extremely light, so bluffing is generally pretty bad. So yeah, the abbreviation I use is God plus MH, gut shot or draw plus made hands. So that's your betting range, and yeah, just your betting range. Gut shots are an 8-out draw plus your made hands, which is anything which is the effective nuts or something worth value betting. So yeah, the bet sizing, there's no real formula for this, but when you have a very strong hand, the effective nuts, always try to play for stacks. This should be quite obvious, but yeah, just be as greedy as possible, and that's fine. Yeah, and just we're giving up a lot, so when we don't flop a gut shot or a draw or a strong hand, we're just check folding. This is completely fine. And just on a side note, I mean, when I make the live strategy guide, whenever that will be, I might try this strategy because I think the skill and the game type will be quite similar. So I might see how it does, but yeah. So yeah, and as you saw in the HM2 database, I played a much lower VPIP strategy at 10 NL. And yeah, the post-flop blockers for bluffing became more important in my opinion. 10 NL is still pretty low and lots of bad players floating about, but I was just showing more respect at those games. So yeah, the strategy is very exploitable. It's super face up. I think it's good versus unknowns and bad versus regs, because as soon as they know you're playing like this, like if someone sees this guide and they know someone is playing this guide, then they'll easily be able to exploit that. And so yeah, like right now everything here is a pure strategy. Nothing's mixed. In my guides in the future, there'll be a lot more mixing. It'll be a lot more complex guide for higher stakes, where more money is at stake. But yeah, it's very easy to memorize. Like, this is gonna be a very short video, more or less, for beginners and stuff. But yeah, I think that's more or less it. So I'll just show you some hands some hands which explain like how this is how it's so easy to stomp these guys. So I'll mainly be looking for hands which aren't in a typical playing range. So we have a 7-6 offhand here. We raise the cutoff, which is non-standard. Okay, the call is pretty bad. Oh, we're quite deep, so I think that's why. So yeah, immediately raising effective nuts, stacking off and winning. Okay, 9-6 suited, like definitely not a standard call here. We make a draw. I actually go for the raise. I don't think it's terrible. We do block the hand I'm representing, 6-7. We make a flush and we win. He does have the ace of hearts, which probably makes it a valid cooldown, but he does lose to all the sets, all the flushes, all the straights. Yeah, this is probably still not even a call, but yep. This queen off. That's probably standard. 5-4 offsuit. Yep, not a standard defend. We always play passive with our draws. We don't balance sets and draws. We just always play passive with draws. Immediately being aggressive with our made hand. Just win some money. This one's probably dumb. Oh, this isn't the hand I thought it was. Okay, make 2 pair, immediately raise, and just automatically win. Yep. That was pretty standard. Okay, we have a draw here. Flatting with 7-8 off, definitely not standard. Have a pair and a draw. Check min raise. Always play passive with your drawing hands. Not folding for this price. And yep, he let us get there. Okay. 9-8 off. Not standard raise. We flop an open ender. I'm generally not a fan of c-betting multi-way, but I was just autopiloting my strategy, playing very passive withdrawals, not bluff raising, not doing anything, and just check jamming versus perceived nuts. So Min raising a set on the flop is something you'll see a lot. And I think there was maybe another hand. What happened here? So not a standard call pre. Make trips and just play for stacks. Makes sense. Get called by ace high, like that's a terrible cooldown, very light, so that's the kind of shit you'll see. 6-7 off. Okay, cool. Pair plus draw, I think it's okay. Wow, I go for the value bet, holy shit. Yeah, and like just get paid, you know. So yeah, if you know you have the best hand, just go for it. In my opinion, that's quite thin, but you know, it worked. Okay, queen 10 off is not normally a call pre. Okay, yeah, this is okay, not too bad. Open-ended straight draw, probe turn, and yeah, just rip your whole stack if you have the nuts, and get paid. Ace queen is another hand which is way too light of a cooldown, but yeah, so this is a good sample of hands that you might be trying to see. So this will be the last one. Let's say calling, very non-standard, passive withdraw, aggressive once we hit it, should just jam and it would be fine, and we stack a set, which is okay. I think there was one with Jack 10 off I wanted to show you guys. Okay, and yeah, just making two pairs, playing aggressively, overbetting turn when we have the nuts, get called, and we still get paid by ace queen straight. So lots of cooldowns with one pair hands for stacks, and yeah, it's just, you know, it's pretty easy, and like yeah, just playing some post-flop poker. It's pretty nice. You get to play, you know, a lot more hands per hour, so it's good if you're a beginner. And yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to go over. So if you guys want to like try this guide out, and let me know if it's treating you okay and stuff, then that'd be cool. And yeah, sometime in the short-term future, I'll make a guide for like 10 zoomed to 25 zoom, and yeah, that'll be like a private guide. So I hope you enjoyed this. This might work at 10 zoom and higher, but I haven't tried it there, so I can't say it will for sure. But yeah, you can move out of these games pretty quick with a win rate like this, probably better. I definitely remember making some mistakes in this time frame, but yeah, the rate back will also help. And yeah, have fun. I'll see you next time.